Good morning, you boring lot. How are we doing this fine Saturday morning? It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Just a reminder, I'm trying to grow the channel. So if you're here, please like, please subscribe and help me to get the channel out there as much as possible. Lots to talk about today, but I did just want to start by talking about one more time Mr. Rocky Rocastle, David Rocastle, a legend of the club, a wonderful footballer, taken too soon, died at the age of 33 by, let me get this right, non-Hodgkin lymphoma. I didn't get the opportunity to appreciate him when I was growing up. My dad always talked so fondly of him, and there's a story that Ian Wright tells where he signed for Arsenal, and the first thing he did was to go around Rocky Rocastle's house, and they stayed up till 4 a.m. about how excited and they were talking about how excited he was to be playing for Arsenal Football Club. And he said that in that conversation you could just see how much Rocky loved the club, and he did some amazing things while wearing an Arsenal shirt. So just a quick start to say that today we're remembering Rocky on what would have been his birthday today. So happy birthday to Rocky Rocastle. And before I start with some of the other bits and pieces, I'll jump into the chat as well. But good to see you guys. Good morning, Retro Goon. It's good to see you. You going to the game today? You looking forward to it? It's one of them games, isn't it, Fulham? Don't you think? And what's Chidderall saying? Good morning to you as well. Get your aspirins and your inhalers ready. Get your rosaries and the Hail Marys. I've gotten grey hairs in the last month. I already have an inhaler, so I don't need an invitation there, my friend. Not much of a rosary guy, but I can definitely open my Bible and pull out a verse that might be helpful. Not quite on the level of Timber, but I can find some stuff. Check out Isaiah 40:31 as a starting point. But yes, and Retro Gooner, Retro Gooner, you would have seen him more than I did. My dad always talks very fondly of him. He was really so good, such a skillful player. Remember who you are, what you are, and who you represent. And I mean, I don't think there's a better way of saying anything when it comes to Arsenal Football Club, does it? So yes, let's talk about Arsenal and Fulham then. It is one of those games where it should go our way. We're at home. They've been reasonable in the last 5 fixtures. They've got 5 wins. In their last 5, they've got 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. And in their last 5 against Arsenal, they've got 2 draws, 2 losses, and 1 win. So, in that respect, the fixture does favour Arsenal here, and you'd like to think that Arsenal will be strong enough to get the job done. However, it's crunch time. I saw a stat this morning that said that Arsenal hadn't scored more than 1 goal in like the last 5 or 6 fixtures, which is deeply concerning because Arsenal need to win this game confidently and by a high score margin so that they can get some sort of goal difference onto the Premier League table. So that does fill me with a little bit of nerves. I can't lie. But yes. So let's just jump in with a few more comments here. Good morning to you, Gunarican. It's good to see you. Not going today. Can't decide whether to hide till it's over or to listen to it. I am going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely going to. I have to watch the game. I have to see it. I have to endure, as the saying goes. Rocky Rocastle, legend, played for us. I did not know that. Was that before or after? Must be after Arsenal, surely. And David, good to see you, mate. Morning. Firstly, come on, West Ham, 3 p.m. Big weekend ahead. Yeah, I mean, they're playing Brentford. That's a tough fixture. That is a tough fixture for them. They're away from home as well, I believe. So that could be the hardest of West Ham's remaining fixtures, couldn't it? Bournemouth away. I do kind of worry for them in that game. But I also think Spurs have a difficult game too. So I think they could both cancel each other out today. But that remains to be seen. Let's have a look. I mean, look, in Arsenal's last 5 fixtures against Fulham, the results have been, so Fulham have lost 2, drawn 2, and 1-1. They lost 1-0, 2-1. They drew 1-1. They won 2-1. That would have been in the 23-24 season, I think. And then we drew 2-2 as well. So I do think in terms of the fixtures, I think that favours us, and I think we'll have enough to beat them. But their two top goal scorers, Jimenez and Wilson, will probably be playing this game, and they have 19 goals between them. However, they do have those injuries as well, where they've got no Sessegnon, no Iwobi, and no Tete. I think Kevin will be playing though, and he's quite an exciting player. So I do think that there are things we need to be wary of here. Wary. I'm not sure which one it is. But before I jump into that, then this it was after Arsenal. I thought so. Yeah. All right. Okay. So here is what this is based on some new information as well. So yesterday I put up a starting 11, and I think that's probably going to change now. This is what I think Arteta will start with. So I think we'll have Raya and goal, obviously. Mosquera at right back. I think he'll rest White because I think he will play him against Atletico on Tuesday. Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié. You might see Calafiori in there, but I think he'll play Hincapié. I just think Hincapié has been the pick of the defenders over the last month or so easily. Rice and Zubimendi. Hopefully, we will see Rice get back in at the 6. Today, I quite liked watching him in the 6 against Atletico, and I hope that's a thing going forward. Zubimendi in the 8, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him MLS get a run out there and rest Zubimendi up. And I think MLS suits the 8, which will allow him to interchange with Hincapié if Hincapié inverts or if he overlaps, and then that would mean that MLS can drop into the left back position if needed. I think that he will play Martinelli in this game, partly because I don't think there's going to be any Ødegaard there isn't going to be no Ødegaard because it looks like he's got another knee injury. So I think we'll see Eze move into the 10, Martinelli on the left. And I've just got a feeling I've got no inside knowledge. I've just got a feeling he's going to play Saka today. And I think he'll start him. I think maybe he'll give him 60 minutes and then take him off just to try and get him sort of getting the minutes under the belt for him to start against Atletico on Tuesday. But like I said, that's just a punt. I've just got a feeling he's going to start Saka. And actually, I would quite like to see Saka, Eze and Gyökeres on the pitch together. Martinelli will do Martinelli things. And at this point, it's unlikely that we're not going to get the Martinelli that we want to see. But he was quite good on Wednesday. So there is that, I think. But for the most part, I think that will be our starting 11. I could imagine a world where MLS is starting in the 8, but I'm just not sure if that's going to happen. And, Arteta is, if anything, a creature of habit. So I think that's probably what we will end up seeing there. But what are your thoughts on the starting 11, Arsenal fans? Who are we going to have I think most of the team picks itself. I think it's going to be the right wing that could be interesting, the 8 that could be interesting, and then potentially at left back. Other than that, I think the team will be the team. So, what are your thoughts on that? What we got here? Yeah, thank you, Darkside. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, please, guys, get the likes up. Help me get the channel out there. This is the first one I've done on a Saturday, so it's quite nice to be able to do one on a Saturday morning while everyone else is out. While the girls have gone out to horse riding. I did not time the washing machine very well, so if you can hear that in the background, I apologise. That should be coming to an end. And then what have we got here? David, I think Madueke and Trossard agree with the rest. So you think Madueke will be on the right and Trossard on the right, on the left? Yeah, okay. I think I could see that. And then maybe Saka coming on for the last 20 again. The only other one is just that Calafiori one. I'm just not sure. He might play Calafiori in this game because at this point, you might not want to risk Hincapié because of how important he's become. And actually, before I move on that, guys, do you see a world? So do you see a world where Gabriel at some point could be moved on? And I'm not saying that because it's what I want to see. I just, when you just get an inkling of something, he's 29 this year. We might see another season where we go trophyless. There's lots of people who are already pretty certain on that. Is there a world where Gabriel may move on? And is Hincapié a decent enough replacement at left centre-back for him? I don't know. I really like Hincapié as a left centre-back. He is only 24, I think. So, he's got you would think that long-term his place in the team would be more central. And does he have the ability then to take over from Gabriel over the next, because in 3 years' time, Gabriel's going to be 32 and Hincapié will only be 27, reaching his peak. So is that the long-term plan for Hincapié, do you think? Brian, don't forget Lyon v Arsenal today at 2 p.m. Yes, I really fancy Arsenal for this. Lyon away Lyon have a history of having like the best women's football team, right? So I am really nervous for the girls. but you've got to believe, haven't you? Otherwise, what's the point? But away at Lyon is going to be a horrible fixture for them. And you know, my heart says that they won't make it to the Champions League final. But we've got to believe. We've got to believe. I'm going to be more positive than that. I'm in a good mood today. I'm on my second coffee. I'm drinking Costa today, which is just, you know, lovely. I'm not making it myself. But the missus had me up at 6 a.m. this morning to go and do a Starbucks run. Can you believe it? So this is my second paid for coffee of the day. Starbucks or coffee? Starbucks or Costa, by the way. Which one? I'm more of a Costa boy, I have to say. They are at least better at paying their taxes. But yes, I think Lyon may well do it, but I don't know, maybe with some of the contract signings over the last week or so, the Arsenal team might be buoyed. I think manager's doing a really good job. No, do not forget it. We're making the final. We're going to do it. And then we've got David. To be fair, there's a shout for Dalman as well. He hasn't played in a while. Yeah, I mean, there comes a point where you either roll the dice. Is he rolling the dice or is he protecting the player? And you know, Dalman is a great impact player. I don't necessarily need to see him starting games, but yeah, a game like this against Fulham, where they're going to low block, because if they win, they can get themselves into the European places. So they're going to low block. They're going to try and play on the break. And if Saka's not playing, if Eze's not playing, the player that you want on the pitch, or if Saka and Eze have indeed gone off, then Dalman is the player you want to be bringing onto the pitch, isn't it? Costa, no. Having a Diego Costa. All right, so everyone's on the Costa, no Diego. So we're all Costa fanboys then, yeah? Is that right? I'm a Costa fanboy. I know this reminds me of the famous Arsenal kit. Gold trim. Yeah, it reminds me. It's close. Did they call it that year? Was it Redberry or something like that? They called it. I feel like they called it Redberry. But yes, it reminds me of the Arsenal kit. Starbucks can't do that for me. Although Starbucks is green and our original colour was green. Here you go. Here's a trivia for you. Who can tell me why Arsenal are red, having originally been green? Who can tell us that why Arsenal are red, having originally been green? Hit me up. Let's see who's got that. All right, let's carry on. What have we got here? Big up, mate. Chris, good to see you, my friend. How do you think Liverpool are going to do against Man United this weekend? I think we talked about it yesterday, but I have just done like a quick. I haven't done score predictions, but I've done win, lose, or draw on the fixtures for this weekend, so we can talk about that too. There's 6 people here. Please, get the likes up if you're here, and if you're new, subscribe. That would be amazing. I'd be really grateful. All right, so we've spoken about the lineup, and just to put it out there, I think Arsenal will win 2-0. If this team plays, I think we'll have too much for them, and I think that we will be celebrating going 6 points clear and with a little bit of goal difference. Arsenal, but just as to caveat that, I am also acknowledging that Arsenal have not scored more than 2 goals in a game in a month. All right, but April is finished. It's behind us. It's May now. Somebody else is manager of the month. Let's just hope we can get our house in order, and that is all we can do, I'm afraid. But I wanted to talk about Ødegaard and Havertz real quick. Ødegaard and Havertz are injured again. Well, it looks like Ødegaard is going to be injured, more knee issues, and then Havertz obviously came off injured in the Atletico game, along with Eze, to be fair. But my words. That was the game before. Sorry, it was Newcastle, wasn't it? But my words, it's frustrating now, and I think we're at the point now. And Ødegaard, I like, but I can take or leave, and that's my feelings. Havertz, I am a fanboy, and I will die on the sword of Havertz, right? But there has to come a point now where the injuries are too consistent now. And yes, they've been running to the ground, and I hear all of that, but there comes a point where you have to look at it and say, do we need to move on? And I think there may be a case for that this season. Ødegaard, I haven't heard much noise about. Maybe there's some rumours of Italy, or there were once upon a time. I don't know if they stand true now. But there are some quite strong rumours linking Havertz to Bayern Munich and a return to Germany. I have to say, if he does go to Germany and if he does go to Bayern Munich, I really do think that he will cook there. I really do think he would be a good signing for them. I think that the way he plays, will allow their wingers to be absolute monsters. You know, dropping the way that he drops. I've spoken about the differences between him and Gyökeres quite a lot, right? But the obvious thing is that Havertz is willing to drop because he's not a true striker. He's more like a shadow striker, right? And so he's dropping in. But when he drops in, and Kane is the master of this, by the way. Kane is the sensei. There's a reason why Kane is world class and is in line for a Ballon d'Or this year, right? He drops in. He allows those wingers to come in, and there's a reason why I think Olise has 25 GA this season, right? Because of the way that Kane does his thing. Kane is getting older. Havertz is still younger. And you know, I think that although he's not on Kane's level, that's not what I'm implying. There is that element that he can do that dropping in part that Kane is so good at doing, and Havertz can do that too. So I think he would cook in Germany. I think it'd be a return to the motherland for him, and I think it would be a good suit. And I think that Arsenal could get a decent what's the word I'm looking at? A decent amount of money for him. So 50p, that's millions in Germany, by the way. Oh dear. You do remember some of your fans used to drink Costa coffee after a Chelsea match? Is that a Costa humbling, by the way? And Diego Costa was a nightmare. I'm not even talking about Diego Costa. Probably a draw written all over it for us. Not for Man United, though. I think Man United are going to go for that because they've been embarrassed by you guys a couple of times over the last few years. I feel like Man United are going to really want to put you guys to the sword if they can. But yeah, so I think, and then when you look at some of the players we've been linked with, I think some of them are interesting, right? So I've spoken about Alvarez and Osimhen quite a lot this week, and you know they would be like top tier signings, right? And it depends on what kind of striker you want would suit you, right? So like Alvarez, I get it. He is a bit like he plays a bit like Havertz, but he's a better player. You could say. Then you've got Osimhen, who's probably the closest thing to Thierry Henry out there right now. But then the rumours about Krupi Jr. just don't seem to be going away. And you know, he's Premier League proven at least. He's younger, I think, than all of them, and he has that kind of exciting. He has an exciting quality about him. I do think if Arsenal are going to go for him, they're going to have to go this year because you have to look at Iriola. He could end up at somewhere like Man United, and if he does, he's going to want someone like Krupi Jr. and he's going to have that relationship with him. It's going to be Man United. He's going to go to Man United, right? So I think if Arsenal are going to go on someone like Krupi Jr., they've got to do that now. And actually, I quite like that signing, especially if you're going to, if you're going to be replacing Jesus, he's a natural fit for that. But then Arsenal could be replacing two strikers this year because you're looking at you thinking Havertz could indeed go. And I am hoping they sell Gyökeres. And I've already said quite a lot of things about what they should be doing with Gyökeres. But we could be in a position where Jesus and Havertz leave at the end of this season. And then on the other side, these aren't attacking midfielders as per se, but we're talking about potentially Odegaard leaving. But Arsenal have also been linked to, I might get this pronunciation wrong because I've never said it out loud before, Götze, who is a left winger, but it looks like he can play across the front. And then the same with Yilmaz as well at Galatasaray. Last week, Berta was in Turkey, and there was noise about him being there to look at Osimhen, but actually there are suggestions that he was there to watch Yilmaz, and Yilmaz also is quite an exciting left winger. So it looks like there's definitely some sort of effort to get a left winger in, and it looks like the Gordon rumours have gone quiet because he may be going to Bayern Munich. And actually, I'm okay with that because if we were going to sign a Premier League left winger this year that can't be Semenyo, I think I'd probably prefer to sign Ndiaye from Everton anyway. But that's just me. Chris, Slot can't really afford to lose big at United, otherwise fans would take offence to that. The thing is, I think Slot's been offending your fans all season, hasn't he? for a few of you. But this is one of those games, isn't it, where it could, for a lot of Liverpool fans that aren't quite there yet, this could be like the final nail in the coffin for people being patient with him, right? So I think that there's that to consider too. Sorry if there's barking in the background. Hopefully my son will acknowledge it and let the dogs out if they need to go to the toilet. All right. Okay. Let's move on. Talking about Rocky. So I'm going to move on from that. I suppose the other thing I wanted to talk about was did anyone watch the the game yesterday. So yesterday it was Leeds versus Burnley. They absolutely tanked them, by the way. So if Arsenal aren't putting 3 or 4 past them, I'm going to be fuming when that fixture comes around. But Leeds dismantled Burnley. The thing that stressed me out, though, was the in-game interview where the player had been subbed and then they interviewed him while there was a corner being taken. Like, what is the Premier League doing? Like, they're trying so hard to kind of Americanize this whole experience of watching football. And they're trying to fix something that for fans isn't broken. Like, no fan is thinking, oh yeah, that's a great idea. They've just subbed him off. Let's have a word with him. It's mind blowing. You know, like, it's the most unnecessary thing I feel like I've seen in a game. And it is, isn't it? That in-game interview is nonsense. Did you watch the game? The whole thing looked so uncomfortable. Like, it wasn't cringy, right? So I'm not gonna go like beyond the realms of like what I saw. But it just looked so false and so kind of like nobody really kind of like, I felt committed to it. Like, the interviewer was kind of like, hey, what's going on? And he was kind of like, yeah, you know, I just want to help the team. And every player is going to say that. I just think it was a monumental waste of time. And like I said, there was like an attacking set piece going on from a corner. It was weird. I didn't get it. I don't understand why they're doing that. I understand our fans having enough of Slot to Bonus, but they will keep him as he's got Champions League money for next season. I'm split on Slot to Bonus. I'm more balanced. Yeah, you've said that before. And I think that, you know, the thing is it's like, if Arteta wins the league this year, I would give him the season, but I wouldn't give him 2. And that's only because I think the style of football has to improve. And the other thing I would say is that this was his team as well, wasn't it, with Slot? And he spent a lot of money on them. I suppose you could give him some extenuating circumstances because, you know, Frimpong can't stay fit, Isak can't stay fit. So I get it, but I know at most he can only be having 1 more season, surely. Jumping in, most Liverpool fans had enough of Slot. Yeah, I think that's fair. But we've been speaking about that, and I didn't see the game, but that is wild. It was so weird, mate. Like, if it happened, for example, if I'm watching Arsenal later and they interview, I don't know, Eze after he comes off at 60 minutes and we're losing 1-0, I'm going to be fuming. Like, don't do that. It's so desperate to create some sort of product that nobody is asking for. And I don't know whether they're trying to diversify it because, you know, they've got international fans watching the game now or whatever, right? Which, okay, fine. But if you're watching something that is, you know, this traditional British experience of engaging with football, right? If I was watching the NFL, I wouldn't expect them to change the way they do things so that my experience is better or more validated. You know, I'm watching it because that's their thing. This is how it's always been done. Like, some things are like radical and they're cool, right? This is neither. It's not radical, it's not cool, and it doesn't add anything to the experience of watching the game. It's a bit like when I watched that Chelsea game way back, and Brian might be able to help me on this, and all of a sudden people started brushing their teeth behind the goal. Like, I just didn't get it. Like, why was they doing this kind of random advertising behind the goal? It was just so stupid. And I just don't think it has any place in football. I'm giving Slot the first 10 games next season. He will need to start well. Yeah, he's got to get 7 wins out of 10, and he really to kind of keep his job safe, you'd think. Fair play to Lee staying up. I honestly thought they'd be down start of the season. I wasn't convinced by Farker due to his past seasons in the league, but he finally adapted. He did, and he saved his job because he was on his way out. I think he played Liverpool and Man City within a week and didn't lose either of them or something like that. And he managed to save his job, and he was on like a stay of execution. And then all of a sudden he was safe again. And now people are kind of like, well, he's done his job, and he has. You know, you're talking about 2 Premier League mainstays going down instead of Leeds now, which is crazy, isn't it? That's why Bar will never leave. They'll have ads around it soon. Oh my God, can you imagine? That's so true. Yeah. VAR brought to you by McDonald's. It's farcical, isn't it, really? Why did the club and the player agree to it? I don't know. I think they might have to. Isn't it like, have you seen those like NFL interviews where the guy's like, I'm just here so I don't get sued? It might be something like that. I appreciate you, David. I'm here all day. But yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to put that one out there because for me, I thought that was ridiculous. And then I just wanted to. I was listening to something, and when I listen to things, I do think of you guys. I listened to this this morning. I took a screenshot of it when I was about 10 minutes in or so. But I don't know if you guys are on Spotify, but this podcast here is pretty decent, and I would recommend listening to it. This one I'm just listening to John Terry, and basically about how John Terry has been his own worst enemy with certain things that he's done off the pitch that have perhaps affected his ability to get a job on the pitch. But I've listened to quite a few of them. I've listened to some analysis of Arsenal. There's been some about Tottenham. I think there was one about, I want to say, Villa that I listened to a couple of weeks back. But these are all Athletic ones. So if you've got like an aversion to the Athletic, maybe turn away. But I've been listening to a couple of these, and it kind of dives into the game, and mostly it's because I like listening to the tactical stuff. This one particularly was quite good. But if you get a chance and you're on Spotify, I don't know if it's on all the others, the Tifo Football Podcast, and then there's an Athletic Football Podcast. They're both pretty good, and I would highly recommend them. So I just wanted to shout them out because I thought, people who like, getting football in their ears might enjoy that. So I just wanted to put that one out there real quick. Burnley are in debt apparently, so that parachute payment will be paid towards that. Also, have you seen the people that have been like kind of crying out about Burnley basically playing the system by getting all those parachute payments by coming up and then dropping back down again, just making the money on, accepting they're going to get relegated, but just aiming for promotion so they can get the drop down payment every other year. Which, if it's a business plan, it's a solid business plan because they're making a couple of 100 million every year or so, aren't they? Just by being in the Premier League. And then being the best team in the Championship and then bumping back up and fourth again. I mean, it's a solid business plan. I can't fault it. But yes, there was one more. Just in case for Arsenal fans who are going to be watching the game later, at 5:15, they are going to be bringing on Per Mertesacker on the pitch to do his final farewell before he leaves the Emirates for good. That's at 5:15. I don't know if it'll be on Sky, so you might have to check out arsenal.com for that, where they have the pre-game stuff, and normally it's like Jeremy Aladieri and I can't remember the lady's name, but normally they're on there together. But BFG will be coming on at 5:15, so it might be worth checking that out if you want to see Per Mertesacker do his final goodbye. That would be pretty good. I'm going to be watching it because obviously, Per Mertesacker is a bit of a legend nowadays, and it would be good to say goodbye to him. And as David is saying, he's done an incredible job with the academy, a wonderful job, in fact, with the academy, and it's a shame to see him go. So, I think he deserves. I hope they give him a decent send off. I hope it's not like a kind of like cheers, mate. I hope he gets something better than that because he was loved by Arsenal fans when that little partnership he had with Koscielny. And actually, you have to say that Mertesacker's calmness probably helped Koscielny improve as a football player as well. Burnley are in debt. I've done that bit. Sorry. John Terry is struggling to get a football job due to what happened with Anton Ferdinand, in my opinion, that whole scandal. And then Brian has come back with agreement on that. I also think I don't think he's helped himself with some of the stuff he's posted on. He's liked I don't know, is it Restore UK or something like that? I don't know what the name of the political party is, but they've been doing this whole thing about banning the burqa, and he's been quite public in his support of that. And for a lot of people, that would be like I don't even know how to phrase it, but for a lot of people, that is something that they wouldn't want to see, or they don't agree with, or they think it's too far right an opinion. And so I think for a lot of people that's the type of thing that they think will hamper his opportunity to get a job in football as well. So I think there's that as well. Why is he leaving? Well, with Mertesacker, I don't know. There is speculation that perhaps he's falling out with Arteta. I don't see that. I don't personally see that, but there is speculation about it. Different views on the development of players or how the players are being used. I don't know. That's the only thing I've heard. He might just be looking for his own opportunity to become a leading manager. He's developed an incredible academy. And if he can develop an incredible academy, imagine what he can do with players who are older and more experienced. Maybe he's looking for his first job. I just don't know. And then, yes, he's very political as well, which doesn't help. No, it doesn't help. And, especially when those opinions can be quite obviously quite divisive, So I don't think he necessarily helps himself by doing that. And also, like, when you start I suppose as a public figure, when you start aligning yourself with politics quite openly, I think you kind of open yourself up to having doors closed because people don't want to be associated with political parties, right? So, like, for example, I work for a charity and I write funding applications, yeah? When I go through the list of what they will and won't fund, it will always be, we don't support religious organizations, we don't support political parties, right? So I think there is an element of, once you start aligning yourself with a political affiliation or a political mindset or a political viewpoint, and then link yourself to political parties, people are like, well, we can't really associate with that because it isolates some of our audience or whatever, would be my observation. I'm not trying to lay that down as a fact. That's just what my observation for that would be. And then Marina Thuram would be crazy, especially after benefits. I know, right? No doubt Vinicius would jump ship straight away to Saudi, and rightly so. It would be interesting if, I mean, look, I think I spoke about this on Wednesday, maybe, or Tuesday. He is the type of person that would walk in and be like, my ego is bigger than yours, right? He is that kind of personality. So in terms of management, he would probably be quite good for the squad overall. But yeah, I mean, the way that he defended his player, I don't think it helps. And you know, and they spoke about it on Talksport this week. I listened to a snippet, and it was basically like he'd been let off with a lesser ban because he admitted to a homophobic slur, and it just made me laugh because essentially what UEFA was saying was homophobia isn't as bad as racism, and you know, this ism isn't as bad as this ism, which is exactly what it looks like. UEFA have done there, which doesn't really help homophobia in football at all, does it? Because it immediately puts it underneath something else. And then I also think that there is that element of, you know, there are still plenty of gay footballers who are obviously not out. And that doesn't exactly help that narrative of we're trying to open football, you know? So I do think that UEFA kind of messed up there. That's just my opinion, though. Winning 2-0. I predicted 2-0 as well. I think we'll do 2-0. I think we'll be strong enough to do them. It would be interesting today. We don't know what Fulham will turn up. No, but they have been defensively quite strong. And if they do win, they can push themselves up into the European places. So let me just jump through what I think what seems that we've already had a score prediction. I'll jump in with some more. I think we'll win 2-0. I haven't done scores on these, but it'll be interesting to see your thoughts. I've gone with Brentford to beat West Ham. Brighton to beat Newcastle, Sunderland to beat Wolves, Arsenal to beat Fulham, and then tomorrow I've gone for Bournemouth to beat Palace, United to beat Liverpool. Sorry, Chris. Villa to beat Spurs. So Spurs and West Ham will still be on break even. I've gone for Chelsea to beat Forest. And I've gone for Man City to beat Everton. I haven't gone for any draws because I think it's crunch time and teams can't afford to draw. So I just think that teams are going to lay it out, aren't they, and make themselves vulnerable. And I think that means that there'll be more winners than there will be. There'll be clear results, not shared results. And then I've gone for a 2-2 for us. Okay, well, you know, fair enough. I just think the game will be more open than that, and I think that we'll see. I think that Man United have already qualified. Are Liverpool still chasing qualification places, or are they safe? They've got to be getting Champions League places, surely. Let me just check. Are they safe? They can't be safe. Liverpool have got 58 points. All right, so they're probably safe. Okay. I actually think United and Liverpool can afford to draw as they are sealed. Okay. So it might be a little bit more tentative, saving players for the final few games of the season. Okay, fair enough. Last one, I think, for me, before I wrap up today. I appreciate you guys being here as always. I kind of feel like I need a jingle. I don't know what to do. So, like, you know, when like just to kind of like set the tone for the opening of the show as it begins, some sort of like boring AFC jingle, right? 1-0 to the Arsenal kind of jingle. But where do you even do that type of thing? Like, I literally have no idea where you can set up a jingle, right? Not one. So where do you do that? Do you just ask ChatGPT to put something together for you? because I have no idea. But it would be good to do. So notes on the postcard, that'd be amazing if someone could send that my way, because I'm not beyond just asking ChatGPT to put something together for me. But it would be nice to maybe do something a little bit on brand, or maybe I just need to talk to someone to help me with my branding for this channel, because I feel like I've got loads of things and I don't know, like, so I've got the Boring AFC logo in the top corner here. I chuck this in and that doesn't really quite, this thumbnail doesn't really match, apart from the fact that I've just chucked the logo on it. Like, I don't really know. I need some help with branding. Anyone know someone who's good at branding or media stuff like that would be, yeah, put it in the comments and I will check it out later. But yes, let's just quickly look in. Come on, West Ham, Aston Villa, Newcastle, and Palace. Yeah, I mean that would be a great weekend, wouldn't it? Who are Newcastle playing again to beat Brighton? Do you need them to beat Brighton then? Oh yeah, of course you do. And who are Palace and Bournemouth? Yeah, you really need it all this weekend. Yeah, because if Chelsea don't qualify for Europe, man, they could be fodder, couldn't they? They could be in real big trouble in the next couple of seasons, especially with those debts increasing by 2033. AI 100%. I'll look into it then. I'll have a word with ChatGPT and see what they're saying. All right, okay, guys. I think I'm going to call it there because I'm going to be watching football later, and I don't want to take too many liberties this weekend. But to bring it kind of full circle, Arsenal to win 2-0, Arsenal to go 6 points clear, and to put a little bit of pressure on Man City tomorrow, though. I think the Man City and Everton game will be close because they're strong defensively, but I think Man City will be too strong and Shirky is on fire. With that being said, guys, I won't be here tomorrow, maybe on Monday, but it is a bank holiday, so I might be doing some family stuff, but definitely on Tuesday. Hope you guys have a lovely weekend. Hope the results go your way as long as it doesn't hurt Arsenal. Have a good one, and I will see you guys then.